when you are in a busy season, making a list of the things that you wish you had time for. Oh, I'm going to refine this intake form. I'm going to refine my charting process and, whatever it takes to make it easier when you are busy, because that's how it is. It's not necessarily feast or famine, but if when you're in a really busy client season, whew, it feels like you're lucky that you have time to eat because you're always thinking about the next client and you're worried about, did I get the charting done on the last one? So it just sort of builds up like that and it becomes, kind of overwhelming. Welcome to the Evolve Lactation podcast. I'm Christine Starica, a board-certified lactation consultant in the U.S., and I create strategic lactation education for professionals who refuse the status quo. If you are involved in supporting and advocating for breastfeeding and human lactation, meet me here on the podcast for insights and encouragement. I've had a unique career in breastfeeding support, working in multiple types of settings, and I enjoy sharing my thoughts and observations with you. This podcast is about solutions, not complaints. It's about finding ethical, resourceful ways to solve problems and continue adapting to the ever-shifting landscape in which we work and live. I've got ideas, and I welcome some incredible guests onto the show to talk about their work. Grab your favorite drink or snack and settle in as we begin this next episode of the Evolve Lactation podcast. There we go. So before we even say anything, I'll just give us a start here. Welcome to the Evolve Coaching Call. This is an open forum for discussion, question, answer, anything that's on your mind. I just was looking to open up space for people as we approach the end of the year and see what's going on for people and what's happening and what you need, if there's anything that I can do. So welcome, Kristen.
Awesome. Thanks.
Good to talk to you. We've only emailed, I think, in the past.
Yes, I know. I took the gold course, and when I saw your face pop up, I'm like, oh my gosh.
I
It's really
know.
cool.
That happens to me actually sometimes. I was just telling my husband the other night. Sometimes I'll be just scrolling Instagram and suddenly see a picture of myself from something from Gold. And I'm like, they should really warn me when they're going to tell.
Oh, that's funny.
It's weird when it's just like out of place. I'm like, wait, that
Yes.
shouldn't. Oh, okay, that's what that is.
Yes, yeah. I know, not the same, but sort of the same. I'm running an Instagram ad right now, and my husband, all of a sudden, he's scrolling and he sees it. And I was like, it wasn't my face, but he's like reading what I know that I had typed out. And I was like, wait, what? How are you seeing that?
Are you in my head? Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yes, yeah, yeah. I'm paying for this. Please don't click on anything so I don't have to pay for it.
So that's for your business, for your
Yes.
doula and lactation business?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to get into the medical world with that. So, which I'm not contracted, but I know that we could bill them and for a Kaiser commercial as well. So, is what I was trying to get into. And it's just like with my doula and lactation business, I feel like this is how a lot of people say it is for them, but it's definitely in waves. And I'm coming into a slow period.
hmm.
And every time it slows down, I'm like, oh my gosh, is this the time where I'm like, what am I doing? Is this is this the other shoe dropping and this isn't sustainable for me and my family? And I need to work somewhere else. That panic.
That's so common, and having been in the birth and breastfeeding world for decades now, it truly is cyclical because I know people are like people who don't do what we do. They're like,
Yeah.
babies are born all the time. Yeah, but more babies are born in September. And,
Yeah.
there are definitely certain times of year where it's just busier. So,
Yeah.
it's going to pick up and you're going to be busier. So, one of the things that Annie Frisbee, who runs Paperless Lactation, she always talks about this, just acknowledging that it's cyclical like that and having a list of what you're going to be doing when it gets a little bit slower in terms of face-to-face client work. That's
Yeah.
the time you can do other stuff. And, like you just said, you're running an ad. So that took administrative time for you to get that all set up and make sure you had the funds to do it. And,
Yeah.
just always having that list ready of what can I do? And, when you are in a busy season, making a list of the things that you wish you had time for. Oh, I'm going to refine this intake form. I'm going to refine my charting process and, whatever it takes to make it easier when you are busy, because that's how it is. It's not necessarily feast or famine, but if when you're in a really busy client season, whew, it feels like you're lucky that you have time to eat because you're always thinking about the next client and you're worried about, did I get the charting done on the last one? So it just sort of builds up like that and it becomes, kind of overwhelming.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I've literally like that is a wonderful reminder because there is things that I've been like, oh, I just need to find time to fix my doula contract, add in clauses for canceling and so,
Hmm.
and yeah, so now definitely is going to be the time for that because yeah, finding the time between, actually doing the work and having my life outside of work with kids and everything. I'm like, oh, the last thing I want to do is fine tune anything.
It's a busy time of year anyway, in
Yeah,
just regular personal life because there's so many activities and fun things to do.
exactly.
In
Yes.
our neck of the woods, it's finally cool enough to be
Yes,
outside for periods of time.
absolutely. I know. Well, and like yesterday we our kids had a thing at school and they're like getting out of their costume because they're so hot. I'm like, I know it's cold in the morning, but
For
um
sure.
it still is warm. So yeah.
For anyone who's listening, Kristen and I actually live in the same town, so we're truly neighbors too.
Yes.
No, it's been cold enough to wear a jacket in the morning when we walk the dog, and then when we walk him in the afternoon, I'm in a tank top and shorts because it's so hot.
Yes. Yeah. It's wild, but
It
it's fall.
is. That is fall in Central Valley.
Yeah.
Another thing
Um,
that you can do in a slower season is go back through, and I mean, of course, for everybody, depending on how long you've been in business or doing the
yeah.
same thing, you can go back to your social media posts from the same time frame last year. What worked? What was there? What do you already have that you can just repost or, just change it up just a little bit? It's got pumpkins on it already. It's got a
Yeah.
Thanksgiving theme. Just use the same thing. People do not know. That's the thing about our audience always changing. They have no idea what you were posting last year. They don't care. It doesn't matter.
I like didn't even think about that. Yeah, because like the moms that I was helping last year, their
Yeah,
kids are now older.
they're looking for different things, so they're not going to
Yes.
notice that you
Like, oh,
posted the same thing with the turkeys on it.
yes. Oh my gosh. No, that is genius. Yeah. Well, and I'm also like struggling with the mental weight of the IBCLC exam
Hmm.
results. Like I'm like wanting, like I'm finding where I'm getting bursts of like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, and then be like, well, I don't want to reach out to more providers right now because then I'm like, if I passed and I find out in December, then I would want to have those letters after my name, So I'm like, then I feel like I'm just waiting and then I don't like that feeling. So yeah, so I'm like wanting to like reintroduce myself and all this, but I'm like, well, am I gonna have to do it again in a couple months? Hopefully.
Yeah, and you can be ready for that. You
Yeah.
can have the materials ready that you want to be able to share and make your little list of all the places online that you're going to want to update your credentials and, it's plastered all over your website and your social media. So you'll want to be updating those things so people can
Yeah.
notice.
Yeah. I
And then
know.
if you're listed on, which I know that you are because I just happened to look at it the other day, like your local breastfeeding resources sheet,
Yeah.
you got to update like the local coalition and tell people that, hey, this is what I'm doing now. And it's
Yeah.
sometimes if you've met other IBCLCs locally, through your process, it's nice to just give them an email or a call and say, hey, by the way, I passed my test,
Yeah.
somebody else that can celebrate you. There's not a lot of people who understand what we do or why it's important, so it's always good to just reach
Yeah.
out for that encouragement.
That's definitely. Yeah, no, that's yeah, I need to get on that.
I'm sure you're relieved to have the test behind you.
Yes. Oh my gosh. It was such a odd feeling too, because then like, you're cramming before and then once I took it, I'm like driving and I had been listening to podcasts and, listening to the Lactation College on Substack. I was
Hmm.
having the little like AI reader
Perfect.
while I was driving and all that. And after I left, I was like about to do what I normally do and get in the car and put it on. I'm like, I don't have to do that right now. What is music? It was so odd to like have free time again, but still like obviously I still there's always things to learn. So I'm like, oh, but I don't have the like feel of the rush to get it done. Yes, yeah. It's been really nice to have that behind me, hopefully for a good while.
Well, talk more about Lactation College because when they first started, I was like, this is the coolest idea of all time. And what they were doing was they were posting on Substack these small articles about different topics that you would be studying if you were taking the exam, but also things that IBCLCs need to know. And so it
Yeah.
was sort of a small, sort of little known thing. And it has grown into one of the most important ways everybody that I talk to who's in the process of preparing for the exam is paying attention to the Lactation College and the way that Substack now allows you to listen to an article. It has an AI voiceover, which you can pick. You can make it a female Australian voice. You can make it a male American voice. You can make it sound like whatever you need it to sound like as you're listening to these deep facts. And here's the other thing. They also have these articles translated into Spanish. So when you get one, it comes to your email. The top part's English, the bottom part's Spanish. If you have the AI reader read that out to you and you are working to become a bilingual English Spanish lactation consultant, oh my gosh, you're studying in
Yeah.
Spanish now.
It's incredible, which I am. My husband and my kids all speak Spanish, and I do not feel confident speaking it. I know a lot, and if I like, I can talk it, I can t talk in Spanish to my kids because I don't feel like they're going to judge me as much. They're still little enough that they don't judge me. But yeah, having that read back to me, and it's I have a love-hate with AI readers because pronunciation on some things are off. That I notice in English. I assume it's similar in Spanish, but being able to hear it and hear those words that, I was hearing when I'm in the hospital with Spanish speaking families with a translator, like I'm trying to absorb, but also that was a totally different setting. Having Lactation College being in English and Spanish has been so cool. And yeah, and I love that they're just short topics. Like but it's so much information. And I love that she is putting in things that helps her remember
Mhm.
the acronyms and things like that. But and also she's acknowledging that that works for her and it might not work for you. So I don't know. It's so cool. I love that it's a daily thing. It's bite size. It really helped me. It really just helped me study. We've got the books and we've got all of that, but it's hard to not overwhelm yourself when you're reading those things.
Mm,
And looking at the rest of the book that you still have to get through.
yes.
That was like very overwhelming. And these little snippets were just like the right size. Some are longer, but and that, she breaks down the topics into multiple parts. Yeah, it's so cool having that. Yeah. It I like I did gold and that I liked how short those videos were too. Driving around town here, going to clients, going everywhere is about a 20-minute drive, whether you're driving through town or on
Yep.
freeway. And so each of those things, I could listen, and then, and just listen to those videos and while I'm driving and go back when needed. And same thing with the Substack ones. It was just short enough that I could get those little bits in. It's just, I don't know. That was genius. And I started it in April, and the goal is to get through all the topics by the time the exam window closes. And so I didn't realize like I'm still subscribed. It started up again
Yep.
and I'm like, oh my gosh. And so then it's nice to like listen to these things again without feeling the rush of you have to remember everything. I feel like I'm absorbing a lot more now too, the
You
second
probably
time.
are. And they give you a really nice, you get a list basically of what you're going to learn as it all rolls out. It's just such a great way of taking modern learning methods and technology and
Yeah.
doing what you would be doing if you were in a college class, and you
Yes.
were spending 2 semesters preparing for this big exam. It's really incredible. And it's really cheap.
Yes, it's free unless you want the research. Like she's got some of the research papers, or not even papers, but like where she deep dives more into those things. Otherwise, it's free.
Yep.
And I mean, I paid to subscribe just because like a thank you to providing this knowledge. And I didn't, and I want to do the research, but I was like, I didn't the last semester. I was like, I don't have time to
Hmm.
do those things. I need to get through all these topics. But now I've been going through when she posts the research ones, I think on like Thursdays. But yeah, which is also another fantastic thing because the books and the courses and all of that, like the exam prep stuff, it all adds up. And if you're just starting out and you maybe don't have clients that you're seeing, those costs add up and the test itself is expensive. And so having this free resource is amazing.
It's really a gift to the whole
Yeah.
field. I mean, it's just I don't know Barbara, but I know one of her dear friends who's been her colleague for like their whole careers, and the way she glowingly talks about this is I'm trying to emulate that, but I mean, I can't
Yeah.
tell you how important that has been to people coming into the field. It's just such a wonderful resource. And it comes from a perspective of somebody who's been doing this for a long time. So
Yeah.
you know that it contains the practical application of
Yeah.
why do you need to know this? Like, why would I even need this?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that. It's really great. That's so cool that you use that. Is there anything else that you feel like was super helpful as you were studying?
Yeah, I'm very much an audio learner. So anything that I could find that was being read to me, talked through, was listening to Annie and Leah's podcasts, like
Hmm.
old episodes, where I would go through and just see. When I first started out doing this years ago, I found their podcast just to like, the business aspect. I'm like, how do I do this? And so
Hmm.
I was listening to that. And so I remembered now while I'm, studying that they had talked about a lot of things. And just when I was taking the test, I was thinking of each question like, okay, if this person was in front of me, how would I help them? How would so I was like putting myself in the situations, which was really nice with Annie and Leah's podcast was because they talk so much about their visits. So that was really helpful. There's another, I believe it's also AI read on YouTube. I think that I'm not sure on the history of the channel, but it's like your neighborhood pediatrician, and it says for the IBCLC exam, and it also talks through topics and like the breast anatomy, trying to remember all those terms, in the mix of everything else. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to remember all of this. So, I'm like, anything that can be read to me is great. So, but it was also, I do believe it was AI read. Though, I want to know who is presenting the information. Is it evidence-based? Like all of those things I'm like really trying to be aware of. And so I'm like, I don't know the history of that channel, but from what I could tell, everything that I saw or heard was in line with everything else. I went back through the gold courses on topics that especially the beginning chapter or the beginning modules, back to those. And then I did get the breastfeeding atlas so I could look at the pictures. I liked the layout better of core curriculum.
Hmm.
Um, because it's like bullet pointed. So I felt that was easier. I like short little things. And I'm like when I was a student in like high school, college, I was not big on fluff with writing. Can I just bullet point everything? And so core curriculum really like spoke to me. But yeah, but I tried to only do those things. I know a lot of people go way on the deep end of buying all these extra books and extra things, and I knew that was going to be so overwhelming. I tried to keep it a small circle of what I was doing, but that touched a lot of things. So the Substack Lactation College was like my go-to though.
For sure.
Is Barbara, she's an MD, not an IBCLC. I feel like she said that multiple times in her.
I think she's both. I'm going to look it
Is
up
she?
right now real
Okay.
quick because
Okay.
I'm pretty sure she is both. I know
Okay.
she's a pediatrician, right?
Right. Right.
This up really quick. And of course, I'm going to link to all of this stuff. So anybody who's listening can definitely figure all this out about. Oh, that's a good question that I was thinking when you were talking about it. This Substack site started in January 2021 with an idea that popped up during COVID times. I wondered about that because I remember it starting, but I didn't remember that it was then. Okay, Barbara
Okay.
Phillip, MD, is a professor of pediatrics at Boston University School of Medicine, fellow of the AAP, and a fellow of the ABM, the Academy of Breastfeeding Medicine, a practicing pediatrician. So not an IBCLC, but a fellow of the AB or of
Yeah.
the ABM. So that
Okay.
means that she's done the additional lactation medicine training.
Okay.
So that's so awesome.
Yeah, because I feel like there was a couple of topics that she said that she's not a lactation consultant. So like, and it was worded in a way where she was saying she, like, I feel like there's a couple of times where she said, I don't know what the exam looks like. And so, which I thought was really cool was that this was coming from an MD's perspective and
Mhm.
the such an understanding of the body more than what most lactation consultants know, I would assume, because that, yeah, obviously is there is her focus is, the body. And that's what I really liked is like the how this works and how it ties into the rest of the body,
Mhm.
not just feeding the baby, which obviously is our number one goal, but how does this all work? Like that's where I really liked it. That was her kind of focus through all of it. So yeah, it was really cool. I learned so much and it was nice to be able to put together things that I've read or saw in like the modules and of gold and everything and then have like it all just like kind of condensed into just a small little post.
It all
Yeah.
ties together. And I mean, that's what you're going to be doing for the rest of your career in lactation anyway. You're going to come across new things and, you're going to hear new stuff and you're going to find new research articles and you're going to you're listening for, okay, what is consistent with what I already know and what's new? Does that seem plausible? Like, is this research article saying something that's completely out of line with what we always thought? Why? Like, why is this doctor now talking about this? So there's always that perspective that you put on it, and that's how we expand the field. I mean, so many things have changed. Like, it's funny because my husband always jokes about this, like what is your job? The baby just latches. Because in our experience with
Yes.
three children,
Yeah.
that is literally what happened. But he gets it, obviously, that it's more complicated than that. But so yeah, overall, a lot of the stuff that we know has not changed. If you think about everything that's included in the Baby Friendly Hospital Initiative, yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty standard. Not much has changed. But if you start to go into the nuance of it, well, we
Yeah.
do understand blood sugar a little bit more. We do understand skin to skin and its effects on both bodies. Like there are nuances that are changing. And there's even changes in the way that we practice and the things that we tell people. It's funny because I did a consult the other day and it just struck me how many parts of it. Well, okay, so here's the reason why it felt like that. So the person that I was seeing is related to one of my original mentors. So one of the people who taught me about lactation. So I was seeing her and I know that she's talked to that person. So I know some of the things that she likely has heard. That person doesn't work in lactation anymore. So may not be up to date on all the things. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, I am probably saying things that she has not heard, or she's heard the exact opposite. There's a lot of things that we kind of talk about in different ways now. So, things really do change over time, but you're looking for that through line of what did you already learn and what do you already know, and then making those connections. And it sounds like for you, you started with the foundational course with the modules, and then everything else that you were learning and studying along, you were trying to tie it back to the way
Yeah.
that you learned it in the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. And I started, I have the CLC through Healthy Children's, which I did during COVID online.
Okay.
And so like it was very, very new to them doing that platform that way. And so I got it. And then, I mean, even since that, things have changed,
Hmm.
in the last few years. And so, I just went all over the internet looking for courses, taking, this course on like sucking skills and taking this course on allergies and tongue ties and, like did all of that over the years. And then when I'm in all these groups and I'm seeing what people are saying and everything. And so like and then I needed, and when I took it, that CLC course was only I think it was like 52 hours. So I needed to take more for the exam, for the IBCLC exam. And I was like, I could take a bridge course, just to get the hours in. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to take the whole gold course. There's got to be new information, or even just information presented by different people, can sit differently in my brain. And so I took the whole course and I was like, oh, okay. So like tying all that together, but also going, oh, the things I took years ago, some of those are still current. So it was nice having that, like, okay, I'm still teaching the right things when I am with people. That like validation was nice for some things as well. And then, yeah, and then this Substack, like having all of that come together too. I was just like, okay, like just really piecing everything together, still feeling like I don't know enough after all of that. Like there's just so much, there are little things that are changing, and but also, and like ABM staying, I went through their website of all of their protocols and
Mhm,
what, because they I feel like have released new things, especially the mastitis protocol. I
mhm.
don't feel like enough people have updated their practices towards those new guidance that are years old now. But yeah, it's just, yeah, piecing everything together, um, and trying to stay updated is hard, but like I'm loving like searching for things.
Well, welcome to the club because that's just, I mean, rarely meet somebody who works in lactation who's not just completely obsessed with reading everything they can find and signing up for every course that they hear about because it's fascinating. It just
Yeah,
really is. If you're interested in it, it's fascinating and that really
yeah,
just never ends. But it sounds
yeah,
like now you are in the habit of doing it that way, of
yeah,
seeking out multiple perspectives and making sure that you are matching up what you're hearing with what you knew before. And that's, an ongoing thing throughout your career.
yeah,
So you said something earlier that was about your approach when you sat taking the exam was
yeah.
to imagine the person being described in the question sitting in front of you. How do you feel like, do you feel like that really made a difference for you as a strategy for taking the exam?
I think it did because it really made me slow down to read exactly what was in the question. Or not even really what was in the question, but because the question's the last bit of it, but like what it it just really helped me be in the moment and what are they actually telling me? What am I trying to add in?
There you go.
Because a lot of people in all of these, lactation group becoming IBCLCs, like all the people who are taking this test are, they're like, oh, if this situation, if this or whatever. And so many people are like, no, they give you the information. Don't add anything. Take off your nurse hat, take off your doctor hat, like whatever you have, just read the question. And so I really tried to make sure I did that. And I the like my friends and family that after I got out of the exam, I was like, I either failed spectacularly or I passed really like it could go either way because I've walked out so just like at ease and not like I went through because I was like, I even slowing down and doing it, I still finished way before time,
Hmm.
expired. And so I went back and I was re-looking at everything like question by question. I'm like, nope, I'm not going to change that answer. I'm not going to change that answer. And have being able to just like picture a family sitting in front of me really just also then in the moment I'm like this is why I'm doing it. I want to help people. And so it just like really like kind of calmed me, so that I wasn't like stressing about what the next question was. I was like just in that moment seeing what was given to me.
That's beautiful. And tell me what you feel when you are sitting in front of a family, like in real life. Do you go into a consult with a new family and feel I can help them? Like it doesn't matter, I can figure out what is going to need to be done? Are you nervous? Are you like, what if I don't know enough? What are your thoughts going into a new consult?
Yeah, I have one this afternoon with a new family, and I'm like, I'm always nervous before I get there because I'm like, what if it's something I don't know? And so that definitely, like, I just have like anxiety, imposter syndrome around new families just because I don't know what I'm walking into. Like, they're asking questions and I'm answering, like partway through, I'm like, I do know a lot. Like, okay, it's gonna be fine. And I'm always like just so excited to tell them things, like, and also to help them connect dots of things that they have looked in because most parents are on social media, have
Hmm.
looked up baby books, have done some sort of research on their own. So being able to connect, like, oh, you know this piece. So let me help you understand what you know is relating to what's going on here and help fill in those knowledge gaps for them. Um, and sometimes I'll get to a client that I'm just like, I'm sorry, I'm like word vomiting. Like I'm telling you way too much. And they're like, no, I love this because they also want to know all of the things. I'm like, okay, cool. And I do have, of course, have to like gauge like, am I saying too much? Do you need a lot less? Of course, how postpartum are you? Are you still in that newborn fog where information is not going to be staying in your brain? Or are we a couple months out?
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, getting into new families, I'm excited to see them and hopefully help them. And one thing that is really hard for me is sometimes I see them one time and you know, follow up with them, and they say they're good or they don't reply. And then it's, a year and a half later and I get the text, hey, you helped me with my first baby. I just had another one. Can you come back? And I'm like, oh, dang. Okay, this worked the first time. Cool. It's just interesting.
It is, and for me, starting my career in the hospital, it's that, but it's like times 10 or 15 every day.
Yeah.
All those people you see that are on your census in the morning, you have no idea where it goes, except for the 2% of people that call back with a question or come back into outpatient if your hospital has that. Like, it's
Yeah.
so little feedback on what you're
Yes.
doing that you have to it helps to have a team, a group, a community where you can talk about what you've been doing, what you've been saying, what people have been asking, and how you reply, and all that, because you need that feedback of like, oh, yeah, maybe I forgot to say this, or maybe I should say this differently. It makes a difference when you're really kind of going over those things with other people. Otherwise, you're just going to every person and never learning anything.
Exactly. Yeah, I did. So I was doing home visits for a couple of years, just tons of education with these families. And then I did my clinical hours at Clovis Community. And so I was there for like 15 months. And which I loved because the lactation team there has only done inpatient. And so I thought it was really cool. And I think this also helped me with taking the exam is there's hospital and there's home visit, things. And so I've done both. But I noticed when I got to the hospital, yes, the turnover, like you go in, you have no clue what this is going to do. You don't even know if you're going to see them again.
Yep.
Most of the time, it's you're discharging, and this is the first time that someone's seeing you for lactation. And so, like, that was a wild time, but I learned so much that helps me with outpatient because now when I see them outpatient, I'm like, what was your experience in the hospital? And when they're describing it, I know what that was like for them. And especially the moms who deliver at that hospital, I even more know. And so, yeah, I left there in January. So it's been, a few months since I've been there. But yeah, I think it's really crazy that you have this, maybe a connection or not, but you have this time with this family in this vulnerable time. They're reaching out because they feel like something's wrong or something really is wrong. And then you might not ever see or hear from them again. And they're in my brain. And like, I'm not going to forget that. But, I'm like, it's just it's a weird job, but it's so cool.
It truly is. It's so true. Like the amount of feedback that you get is so small compared to the work that you do. And that's
Yeah.
not because parents are ungrateful. It's
Right.
because the time of the life that they're in, and
Yeah.
that's normal. That's very normal. But
Yeah.
it was also true that in the hospital there were people who sent notes back to the whole staff.
Yeah.
And there are people who fill out those little forms in the hospital that say, this nurse was a shining star. It
Yeah.
does matter. It does happen. And
Yeah.
when people do have the emotional reserves to make that happen, it is really meaningful for us. But you have to make sure, and I'm sure you do this already because you're also a doula, anytime you get a note, especially a physical note, you have a little place where you keep them all because there's going to be days you're going to need to look back and say, I am
Um,
doing something useful. People like what
yes.
I do.
Absolutely. And it's funny because it's like, I had just finished a short doula contract with this wonderful family. Like, we just clicked. And it was just like a 4 week, twice a week daytime shifts. Honestly, mom slept most of it because that's what she needed. Dad was working from home. And so, like, we just clicked and it was so wonderful. And they gave me the sweetest note, which you don't always get. And I was just like, my gosh, like this is so wonderful. And I'm not going to see you again. Like it's just like, oh, it's so strange. But yeah, you cherish those moments because you don't always get them. And even just like the business side of it, of asking for reviews, for them to put reviews on your Google business page or your website or Yelp or whatever. I feel very awkward doing that. So I don't have a lot. But I remember being postpartum with my doula and she asked me to to leave her a review. And I'm like, yes, I'm going to get to it. And it just kept slipping my mind. And so then now being on the other side of it, asking for reviews, I'm like, I know they're so busy. Like, I just don't want to, have to do that. Obviously, I need to because parents like to see, feedback. But yeah, so it's just like getting feedback is so wonderful from patients, from clients, but also from your peers. It's so important because everyone has learned different things along the way. Just trying to get a bigger picture of what things are happening can look like. It just, I don't know,
That's
it's so
true.
important.
Yeah, like, when you have a community of some way that everybody who works in your community, doulas and midwives and lactation people and everybody who's taking care basically of pregnant and postpartum people have a way to like get together or at least just communicate with each other, group chat, like for Pete's
Yeah.
sake, something where you can say, hey, a couple of your people, like this would happen with our baby cafe in Bakersfield. I could text somebody and say, we've seen a couple of your clients lately. Everybody that comes in, they are saying the nicest things about you. You must be doing a fantastic job. Or your people are coming in and they have the best breastfeeding background. Like, thank you for what you're doing. Or they just,
Oh.
and those are also important ways that we get feedback.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the ones where, yes, it's important that we ask people, we ask all our clients for reviews and, formalized ways of doing that. But then sometimes the best ones are just the friends and family referrals. Oh, my coworker is pregnant. Would you mind telling her about your experience with me? Or hearing from somebody, my sister said that, you really, really helped her. That's the best kind of referral that you get.
Yes,
Because if they
absolutely.
care about you and they said this person will take care of you,
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
meaningful.
That is literally, I have only like doula clients. Lactation is kind of a hodgepodge of, they reached out to, I don't know if you know Tess Johnson
Hmm.
locally. She's wonderful and so busy. And so
Hmm.
she's got her referral list. So I get a lot of messages. Hey, Tess gave me your number. But so it's like a good mix of that, them randomly finding me on my website or the referrals. The client I'm seeing tonight or this afternoon is a previous client was like, "Hey, I gave your number to my friend." And then the friend texted me. So those are amazing. But my doula work, I've been doing this since 2020. I have been steadily employed. I've only had 2 months, not consecutive, like two separate months, not having a client. And I do postpartum only. I've done births. On-call life is not for me. So I do postpartum only. And I have only had two clients that were not a referral of like a friend of a friend, a coworker,
Oh,
whatever. Like it's all been word of mouth from people. And I feel so lucky. And I think, when we opened this, Zoom chat, I feel like, is this the time where things slow down? Like, is this the other shoe dropping when things start slowing down? Have my referral windows closed finally? Are all the people that I've been with, their friends are done having kids? comes along. But yeah, the word of mouth referral is what has been keeping me going. I only have a couple of reviews on my website because I don't like to ask for them. And so it's truly just, people sharing my information, which I think is wonderful. I feel so blessed every time. Oh, it's so and so gave me your number. I'm like, thank you.
It
It's
really
great.
does work for a longer tail than you think
Yeah.
of the friends and family referrals, and just making it easy for people to share your information, even if they hang it up in the pumping room at their work or share it
Yeah.
with the other teachers or whoever whatever works for them. But
Yeah.
it does really grow on itself. And the more you are networking and meeting all the other people who do this work, in your
Yeah.
area, that makes a difference. It's really just about the community and the sharing. You can't do this by yourself. You can't be the only person. If you are, it feels like so much responsibility. And that's
Yeah.
the other thing. You've mentioned that you have young kids and that then you said on-call life is not for me. And that those things probably go together. You have
Yeah.
small children and you can't be on call, right? But even for people who can and who do on call, it's just different things happen in your life.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're going to be having more capacity and sometimes you're going to have less, just like sometimes you have more clients and sometimes you
Yeah.
have less. But you may find
Exactly.
yourself in a situation and you don't want the people who are relying on you and texting you to be like you're like, well, sorry, I'm on vacation. There's nothing I
Right.
can do for you. No, we don't do that. We set up
Right.
these networks of
Yeah.
other people that can help you along. And that's the beautiful part because I think so many people who get into this, we're that kind of person anyway. We
Yeah.
crave that connection. And for a lot of people who get into it when they do have young children themselves, that one thing you don't know before your kids grow up is that kind of goes away. You meet a lot of people, you make a lot of friends, and you have a lot of people who are like you that you have something in common with when your children are little, but that really goes away as your kids get older. And for people who work in birth and lactation world, it doesn't go away because you stick with these people who have this same passion and
Yeah.
who do the same thing as you. And it really does help you through anything that feels frustrating or hard. It makes it so worth it because the rest of it, all the good parts, and even the work part of it, sure, it's challenging. There's days that are frustrating, but it's so rewarding. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. And obviously, we get into this because we love babies and we love parents who are excited about their babies. And like, we
Yeah.
don't care about anything. Like, that's all
Yeah.
we care about is just them loving on their babies. And we get to see that in person and on screens.
Yeah, it's so incredible. Like when I tell people like, "Oh, I'm a doula, I do lactation." I'm like, I've said it multiple times. It's a weird job, but it's so cool. It's just, especially like doing postpartum doula support. It's, I'm in their homes for long periods
Hmm.
and really just getting to know these people and supporting them where they're at and not being usually the only non-judgmental person in their circle. They've got their friends and their family who are, whether they're saying it or not, are like, what are you doing? You should be doing this differently. And I'm just like, what do you want to do? And I'm going to support you. And, maybe we can make some tweaks, but it's not, it's it. And I take that approach with my lactation visits as well. I like that I did both of these jobs, careers, training at the same time, which definitely made it hard to like keep the line of this is doula, this is lactation. And but at the same time, it's been really nice to be able um to support, like I feel like the doula training and all of that really helped me have a more, I don't want to say calming, but different approach to lactation than I think I would have had if I had only gone with the lactation at the time. Like if I had separated them more, it's lactation is very, like I'm trying to figure out what is wrong and how we can help you with that. And then I'm like, okay, how can I word this in a way that is going to, keep things okay and not have you not feel judged because you're not doing this position right, or your baby's not laying on their back, and I'm like, oh hey, let's maybe roll them, just like the way I word things I feel like is different. And I definitely came across that in the hospital. A lot of the everyone that I worked with on my team was only hospital based. And the feel like my approach to teaching was different than them. And maybe that's just a personality thing, but like the nurses would always, like comment on how they just felt that I was I don't want to say more helpful, that's not the word, but like the way I went about my visits with their patients, they said was really like resonating with everyone and everyone noticed. And so, yeah, it's just, I don't know. I think it's so cool to be with people who get it and being able to share that knowledge with each other. And, hey, I had this issue come up. How would you handle that? Is just so cool.
That is so beautiful.
I'm
Thank you.
rambling.
Not at all. That was so beautiful. I think anybody who hears this is going to be so thrilled. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Evolve Lactation podcast. If today's conversation sparked something in you, whether it's a new strategy you want to try, a policy you want to challenge, or simply the reminder that you're not alone in this work, take that energy and run with it. Remember, real change happens when committed professionals like you have the resources and community support to act. Join my community at evolvelactation.org for ongoing discussions, exclusive free resources, and connection with other people who are doing this important work alongside you. You can find all the links in the show notes and connect with me on Substack or LinkedIn for more insights and updates. Whether you're just starting your lactation journey or you've been advocating for families for years, your voice matters. Your expertise matters. And together, we're not just evolving our individual practice, we're transforming the entire system. Until next time, keep evolving.